Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all.
Because now I know when something happens in our lives that is unexpected, you have to go into it in order to ever have any hope of coming through it. So when you go, guess what? When you come out the other side, you grow.
Brought out more in me than I thought that I didn't even know that I had.
That has given all of us a great hope for what we can do with our own messages, our abilities to deliver, but most importantly, to deliver it in an authentic and very, very intriguing way.
Have you ever been in something or felt something where the only way you felt you could deal with it was to leave, get away? I thought that was the meaning of control. It took me 4.5 years to stop looking around the room of my life, of my journey, of my purpose, digging in cushions for a remote that never existed. Looking, re-looking, going back and upgrading, bringing in and pulling out things that do not serve you must go. Those things out in this world that are designed to bring us down, to keep us down, put their foot on our neck and whisper to us that we're never good enough, they don't whisper. They yell at us from all directions, top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner, 365 days. When somebody asks you about yourself, don't you dare whisper. When they ask you to raise your hand, don't you dare half raise it. When they ask you something good about you, you scream it with all you have. Come on now, get up, get up. Tell me who you are. Show me who you are. Greatest truth of all, that not everyone has to remain lost. See, all that time. That's why I'm telling y'all, it's that kind of a week. We're sick. My husband's mother took a turn for the worse. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you, DJ. I saw you back there typing away. I said she must be a court stenographer on the side because she typing her butt off. She was trying to let me know. And Sherry McQueen, I love you. Just like Mrs. Butterworth. I just love you. I was saying we're out of our minds here. Monday, Brian left. Get here. Your mom's not going to make it. She contracted COVID over the weekend. She went for dialysis Monday. She popped back up, and then they were like, now 3 times since Monday, she's been on the brink of leaving and came back. And yesterday was up and talking, and they were going to move her to general population today. And then Brian texted me about 20 minutes ago and said, leave your phone on, your ringer on. My dad just texted that she's unresponsive. Get here quickly. And he's there. He's at their house. So you guys, prayers. I don't know what's going on. He was there just last week. His best friend's mom passed away. And he was there for that. And we turn around and here we breathe. These are the moments where we reach for the things that hold us. In the better times, they hold us in these times too, when we just don't understand. I'm not hearing you yet. Looks like maybe the video is frozen. Now the video wasn't frozen. Oh, let me look up there. Hold on, you guys. All manner of strangeness going on. Is that Sharon McQueen again? Hold on. Am I currently hold on. We're going to get to the bottom of this. Let me go. Hold on. I know what I'm going to do. And I'm going to get our guest in here. Because if I'm frozen, she won't. I don't know what. Thank you, DJ. I see all that. First, there was no sound. Then the video was frozen. I guess they were sick of me bitching and crying. Because that's all I was doing through all of that. They spared y'all. Y'all ain't good with them up there. Because they're like, eh. I was just saying, oh my God, prayers. Please send prayers, you guys. Okay, somebody heard something. Okay, so you heard about Brian's mom, right? How yesterday she was up and ever since Monday, back and forth. Yesterday they were like, oh, she's talking her butt off and blah, blah, blah. And okay, good now. Thank you, Sherry. And 830 of you guys, thank you for sticking with me. This is back like in the days and when I was back in the driveway. Remember? And you guys are like, put the phone further away. We're looking up your nostrils. Sit down. We're getting seasick. I just want to say this. I am all over the place. I miss my husband. I have this horrible cold. We picked up at the Teresa Griffin. Everybody then went and got it. One of the worst. I don't know what's going on. Mucus in your chest feels like glue. Then Brian's mom, just pray. Yesterday, when he went home, back to his parents' house, his dad stays at the hospital all night. They said, she's looking great. We're probably going to move her to the general out of ICU tomorrow. And now I get a text 10 minutes ago that Brian said, my dad just sent me this. Hurry up and get here. She's unresponsive, doesn't look good. I just don't know how people do it. So just send prayers and stuff, y'all. These are the moments. I want to say this. We're going to get a young lady in here named DJ Jaeger. She's just awesome. Thank you, DJ. I love you. She's backstairs. What is that? Downstairs, backstage. See what I'm saying? Oh, Lord. These are the moments where you hold on to the things that hold you when things are great. Because if you can't, look, I'm ringing the bell. I'm going to reach for everything today. I need it all. Somebody send me a hug. Send me a hug. That's what I need. I need a hug. The video is frozen. 737 of us here. So that means here's where I'm going with it now. The power of two or more. I call it forth. I really do. There's a lot going on in our world today. And you can't panic. You shouldn't panic. You should hold on and get to the people in the front row seats of your life as soon as possible. Sharon McQueen, thank you for dialing in and letting me know. Tiara, La Tierra Wise, thank you. Robert Brooker, thank you. All the rest of you, thank you so much. Now, I want to get our guest in here because I've taken a lot of her time today. But thank you all for your prayers, your support. You're everything, seriously. And we want to do that for each other. We want to do that for each other. Maya Angelou says it best. If you're going to teach, you must live your teachings. So don't panic in times of things you don't understand. Get to the things you do understand, and they will help it all feel better. May not explain it, but it'll help it feel better. There we go. Bella Purpose is in effect. Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo is here. My sidekick, my Ed McMahon, and so is a fantastic guest. I love this girl. I'm not kidding you. I didn't realize how much until really now. I do. This girl is so smart. She is going to help us out today. Her name is DJ. I love that. Who doesn't, right? And she is an L&D strategy guru. She is a leadership guru, a business impact, you guessed it, guru. And she's a dynamic leader. And she's a strategist. She's a learning development strategist. She has over 15 years experience in the empowering and learning of empowering professionals, leveraging technology. Breathe, Lauren. Oh, I know. It's hard with my ADHD some days. And designing tailored training solutions. She is currently a senior training manager. I believe the company is called something that starts with an A. Not even, I know my limitations, and they're not limiting beliefs. That word, I have no idea. Sounds like something from Alaska or someplace. But DJ, get in here, bring your entourage with you, and let's get started. You guys put some hearts on the screen. Miss DJ's coming down the hallway. Ever had one of these kinds of days, DJ?
I have.
How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
But see, you hear her voice? It's so calming. I got this. We got this. I'm the D. I'm the J. D to the J to the Jaeger. Say good morning to the folks. How you doing? How you
Good morning. Good.
Did you hear all that stuff? Well, did you not hear half of it? And then I was frozen. Listen, Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
What's it looking like outside there this morning? I bet it's gorgeous.
Well, the sun's not up yet, but I'm sure when it comes up, not yet. But we've had quite a bit of rain, but all my plants are loving it. So I'm happy to see spring blossoms coming up.
Yes, that's always nice. Now, were you born and raised in the Portland area, DJ?
I was, yeah. Been around here pretty much my whole life. And yeah, I couldn't imagine calling anywhere else home, really. We got sun sometimes. We got sand sometimes. You know, when you want to brave the Pacific Ocean, sure.
Yeah.
We got mountains. People ski. I'm not a skier, but people ski. There's lots of stuff. But yeah.
But that cloudiness, big thing.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
The sun comes out in time to set every day.
I know that's right. Yeah. So listen, you're something special. I told you that when we first met. Sorry about that, you guys. I gotta leave it on because they're trying to. DJ, take up to 60 seconds. Say hello to everybody. There's so 807. Oh, 888. Is that someone's angel number? What's that stand for? Somebody look it up for us. Drop it in the comment section. 888 of you here. DJ, say hello and pour from your heart. Tell people what it is that you love to do that eases suffering in the world. And then Dr. Lauren will come back in and hopefully bring his brain with him this time. And we'll get started. Okay? All you, take it away. No promises, though. Don't quote me.
Well, hello. And a little bit about me. I really love to empower people to come to their fullest form. I think I love person-to-person connection. I love meeting people. I know for me, sometimes I'm a bit of an introvert, but I try to put myself out there to really connect one-on-one with people. And I'm getting ready to head to a conference next week with my team. And I talked to them a little bit on how to really find ways to connect and network while we're there and really figure out what it is that someone needs and see if there's a way that you can help them achieve it, whether it's connecting them to someone else, sending them a resource, or providing that coaching, or even just an ear to hear their problems. I think I definitely want to find a way to connect with folks and provide them with something that they need to get to their next level, to be their best self. And we all have it in us. And I think sometimes it just takes encouragement to get there. And sometimes I need to hear that message myself.
You got that right.
Yeah.
DJ, you have the most mesmerizing and you're a comforter. Have you always been that?
I think so, yeah.
I think so. You guys feel it? I can just see. Man, you have children yet?
No, but I used to work a lot with kids. I started my super early career. I worked in a daycare, and I was going to go into classroom teaching, middle school right there.
Hey.
So it takes a special breed, I think, to do that full time.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
I can just see you.
Yeah.
I can just see everybody that's got a little pain to just come, and you're probably also the person people like to, can I just run something past you?
Yes.
Right. See how the gifts work if we allow them to, you guys. It's not hard to literally see someone, but they first must make themselves available to be seen as well, right? If you were to hide these gifts, I probably wouldn't have access to them. So let's talk about that thing that you shocked me with when we had our discovery call. The work. I just like, do you know what I'm talking about? I know you do.
The photo.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had been interviewed for it was a podcast, and it had been pre-recorded on site while, we were meeting together. And then it got put out several months later. And so I figured, well, they'll send me a notification. They'll let me know it's out, that sort of thing. And so I had gone to look for another resource, and I saw that it was live online, and I thought, oh, okay, well, there we go.
Yeah.
And the first thing that popped up when I went to go share it with someone else was, this kind of had this share screen, and it popped up with a thumbnail, and I was looking back at a face that was like mine, but not like mine. And I think it had been run through some beautification filter, something like that, but it felt a little weird to look at that screen and see me, but not really me. It was a little uncanny.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like me. Yeah.
It was AI generated.
I think, there's some sort of filter something, had gone on.
Yeah. And I just couldn't, anyway. And we're going to talk about why I think that was so important for us that day. And I've thought about it a lot since. But first, thank you, Sherry McQueen, statistician.
The 888 angel number is strongly associated with finance. Oh, thank you, Jesus.
I will claim it.
Okay. Everybody touch the screen and transfer that over to your world. Strongly associated with financial abundance, prosperity, and the manifestation of material wealth. It is the great outpouring, the year of Jubilee. They gave us a reminder, and it suggests that your efforts to achieve financial stability or grow your wealth are about to bear what? Fruit. Okay. I know I have a card somewhere around here for a bushel basket purveyor because I want to order as many as I can. Fill me up to overflowing. Everybody that receives that, I want you to say it out loud. I receive that. Bring on my prosperity, right? So, as a leader of leaders, okay, Robert, I hear you. Right back at you. I have a question I wanted to start with. Because you work with a team. Yeah. Now, would you consider yourself inside of the corporate realm right now?
Yeah, I would say that's majority of where my time is.
Okay,
yeah.
That's majority of where your time is. But the tips and tidbits that you bring to the table, they don't just apply inside that space. They apply to any space, correct? So I want to ask you this, DJ, which in your opinion is more difficult to lead, a team or oneself?
I would say self. We tend to move through these stages kind of like yourself becomes what you need it to be at that point in your life. And yourself never looks one way, the same way again, ever. I feel we are constantly evolving, constantly changing. And you have to be open and tap into that sense of self and what yourself is bringing to the table. You have to be honest with yourself.
Oh, yes.
Hear what it's telling you. Because if you kind of shut that out, if you say, yeah, okay, not really, like your body tells you what it needs, hunger, sleep, whatever it is. And it's up to us to be willing to give into that. But I think you have to listen to that self and be willing to hear what it's saying. Leading a team is beautiful because you can recognize those strengths and skills where someone is currently and encourage them to, grow where they want to grow. So that team leadership, it's enabling the success of others, which is fantastic and kind of easy when you can see the skills that they have. But when it comes to that sense of self, some of us sometimes aren't willing to take a closer look.
Well, you know me. I'm tired.
Yeah, Lord, speechless.
I just sitting there because you just eat. You're like butter. Girl, I'm telling you, you have an anointing. You really do have an anointing. I was shaking my head in our discovery call, like, who in the world? I just love it. Okay. So, I believe, I don't know if you, first of all, do you mind talking about your belief system before we, what is it? Because I wanted this next question will kind of tie in or not. And I thought I'd set it up by asking that question. What do you consider your belief system to be rooted in? Are you more of a scientist side, once upon a time, or creationist side, in the beginning, which can take you anywhere without being too specific if you don't want to be? In other words, do you believe in something greater than yourself? Or
I think I'm a humanist. I believe in the power of people. And I think that can take many forms. And I'm also very open to hearing what others believe and where they stand. In college, I had this roommate who was on a spiritual journey of exploration. And she and I went to many houses of worship. We went to many leaders, spiritual leaders, just to hear what they had to say. So I'm open. I leave myself open, but I believe in the power of humans for sure.
See? We're going to have that in common because the power of we symposium. Oh, okay. So I think, and I don't know, you tell me how you feel. And there are those of you out there who are watching. I know a few of you by name. And we know about insight, and we know when we see and feel and detect gifts around or within certain people. And I believe, DJ, you possess what I refer to as the gift of insight, which means, a lot of us work our way into it. Now, what do you think I'm talking about when I say insight to you?
Sensing the future, maybe a little, and seeing something that others maybe don't see, that being sensitive.
Right on. You're right. You're spot on. And here it is. Greater than told me a while back, start practicing this, accessing insight. Insight is what allows us to see beyond the obvious, which that's a very tricky word, because the obvious could mean what we believe is the limit, which could mean past limiting beliefs. It could mean we're living a multi-dimensional experience. This is only the human aspect. Can I see other lanes, i.e. beyond the veil, some people speak to. The future is deja vu, our dreams apart. All of this stuff is because you come inside to see something beyond everything else. Now, what tips me off that a person could have this gift and may not recognize it, I learned from my own self, was this. When I'm really looking for an answer that is not lost, people see me go or look off, or I'll even point now because I'm comfortable in it, my gifts. I was inside of insight because we're looking at it. It's like we pick up a scope. In my world, it's a kaleidoscope, and I can see beyond. I see it because those are the most powerful words in the universe. When someone says, "Ooh, DJ, I can so see that. I can see you doing that." It's because the imagination is the greatest screen in the universe. Everything we touch, everything we can touch, trust me, it began on that screen somewhere in history. It did. So when you do it well, you come back with the exact thing that I was looking at. I said, she goes there and she finds it. So insight, little teaching moment, you guys, is with all the other powerful IN words: instinct, intuition, intellect, inspiration. There's just there more and more will come to you, but they're all internal, they're all inside, and nothing can get in there to take a peek at them without our first offering an invitation. So anytime something is going south, it's going left, it's not working, because something is also inside of us. Something is in there where all of these things, the compass, everything that is due north, is now being changed up because we've invited something that doesn't serve us. So I couldn't get off the cigarettes all those years. It was that I kept inviting them. Once I revoked the invitation, the smoking of cigarettes was no more. And apply that to anything you no longer want. Take back its dance card, pull its ticket, instead of letting people just walk into the club, put somebody out there and let them choose who gets in. Figure it out. That's what you got to do. So DJ, let's go into the work you do. Now L&D, we're not going to assume here it's an acronym. I think L is leadership. What is D?
Learning and development is typically what L&D stands for.
Oh, learning and development.
Yeah, but it really can go. It can go any different way. I think for me, I see a strong kinship with leadership. I have always felt a calling to lead folks, coach them, support them. But you can do work in learning and development without tapping into that strong leadership role too. And that's okay.
The first person. I've never spoken to someone who put it out there, L&D. Learn. I didn't. Is this a new? Where are you inside the pecking order of a corporate ladder?
I mean, hey, in all honesty, I'm not at the lowest rung. I'm like maybe in the middle. But for us to, I think, in a corporate structure, I feel like training always has this weird place where it doesn't necessarily always feel maybe welcome, or it doesn't feel like it fits anywhere. And I know when we first met, I was telling you about corporate training and your face did. You were like,
right.
But I think
yes.
if you think about it in the terms of enabling the success of other people, right? There's more to it than just compliance training, which I feel like a lot of people connect with it, you know, in HR, that sort of thing. But actually what I oversee is technical training. So it's all about training on services and products and, you know, how to use tools. But you think about what that does for someone. If they're like, I don't know how to use this tool, they take the training, I now know how to use this tool. You're enabling them, right, to then have greatness in the work that they do. So I think training can sometimes get a bad rap when it doesn't really deserve it. But I think also people have sat through, I talked to my cousin recently about this. I wrote an article just last week on why the smartest people generally tend to not want to be open to training. And there's this fallacy of, I already know so much, so I can't need to learn anymore. But it is a fallacy because we are always growing, always learning. And like you said, we should invite it in. So, but my cousin and I were talking and he said, you know, I don't really want to open myself up to that type of training because I've had so many bad experiences. I've had so many bad trainings. So it's hard to find that enthusiasm, that excitement around, you know, learning something new if I feel like the process might be a bit muddy or a bit, you know, not the most positive experience.
Well, did you ask your cousin is it a boy or girl cousin?
A guy.
Okay. What did he say? Did you ask, well, what were these bad experiences? What was he alluding to?
Well, he and I, he's in education and he's classroom educator. And so he and I both have come from that world, and we have a long line of classroom educators in our family. Okay. So it's not new. And, you know, going back several generations. And so I think a lot of it too, when I was in that world, we had to attend a lot of these trainings where they were, you know, difficult to sit through and not very engaging. Yeah. And so I, you know, in the work I do where I teach others who are going to be doing trainings, it starts to feel a little meta where you're like teaching someone how to teach someone else. It gets a little nuanced, but in doing that, I really try to drive home that engagement factor being really important. I think if you aren't tapping into people, if you aren't telling stories, if you aren't connecting with them personally, right, you're never going to have that same type of experience. If you're just sitting there, which I like to call, it's like a download. You're literally just downloading information into your brain. Okay, great. Will you be able to recall it? Will you be able to think back about a certain experience on why maybe you should do it a certain way? If you remember a beautiful story about, you know, someone and when it didn't work out and they're able to bring you into what it was like for them day to day, and a learning experience they had, then it can feel a little disingenuous and maybe not as genuine connection as when people are really willing to share those stories and that personal connection. I think that's where that real transformation can happen.
That, you know, you're so on point with that. You're so on point. I remember a few years back, I got called here in the city, here in Chicago, to go into the city because I live in the burbs, to the merchandise mart, to a company in there called, oh shoot, I should have thought of the names before I started the story. Um, they make ergonomically correct chairs and stuff.
Okay.
Right. And so their designers were in the, you know how people come to the merchandise place. I had never been. I didn't. My husband, oh yeah, we love going down there and peeking around. So anyway, I go and there's like 12 of them, right? So it's a small group. And I don't know where, well, I do know where the download came to here's what you do. The entire 3-hour time I spent with them, the majority of it was a role-playing thing where I had people anonymously, each person, write down a challenge that they thought no one would believe they have. And all 12 were different, which was, phew. And then when I read it aloud, I said, how many of you have experienced this and have slain this dragon? 12 out of 12 times, everybody in the room, except the person who wrote it down, had, well, you know what I mean, had already gone through that. They had the answers, but these people were sitting by each other every day for 8 to 10 hours a day and did not know these things about each other. And so it's sometimes like one person put down something that I have a tattoo of this on my ankle or someplace no one would have ever seen it. And no one guessed. No, how did they get? No, did they? No, whatever it was, it led to people actually hold more value than we give them credit for. And if we were to open up and trust, we could save each other from a lot of unnecessary And then the question finally was, how do we spend so many hours a year right here in this nucleus and have such stringent borders around what we talk about that none of us knew any of this? Now, I know that was a long road to what we just landed on, but is there a name for what I described? And if so, what is it?
I don't know if there's a name for it, but I think it's a strong allegory to anything that we experience in life. Like, I know we are all special, but do you think you are so special that nobody else has experienced what you're going through right now? Because I would bet that you probably know somebody who's been through it. And I would bet that you can call upon them for support, for guidance, whatever it may be. But I think that's so interesting where we don't think necessarily in that way. And I think too, in the United States, we tend to have this more individualistic personality. Whereas in other countries, I feel like it's not as strong as it is
That's
here.
a great point.
But we are so designed to think of the self first and almost in an isolating way. And I think that that can serve as more of a barrier to connection than anything else.
Barriers to connection. Oh. Have you ever thought about writing a book, DJ?
I have.
Yeah, I guess that was on the spot. When you were speaking just now, I kind of saw like an overlay. And it looked like a book coming into focus. Then you ended with that pass right there. You might want to write that down. Seriously. So what would you say, DJ, in your opinion, is the greatest benefit of understanding the power of story in anything you apply it to? Because I find more and more people bringing that piece in than from places and lanes you would not expect it to really be that important in. Talk about that if you could, because I think you know a little something about this.
I do. Yeah. Storytelling is so incredibly powerful. And we think about what are the earliest ways that we connected as humans, we communicated with each other, right? And it was through storytelling. I think about like the old radio plays where they would have, you know, you think Orson Welles and stuff like that, like being on the radio and that creativity, it's all storytelling. Movies and music, writing a song, that's storytelling. And I think it's so fundamental to how we connect with each other that something got lost along the way where we don't necessarily do storytelling people to people. You know, we kind of reserve that for more media consumption, that sort of thing. But I think there's also this, and I think maybe it's a little bit of a sexist notion, but there's when women get together and they have a gab session, they share all their knowledge with each other, right? But what is that really? It's storytelling.
Correct.
We're telling our stories to each other, and that's how we find that deeper connection. We really keep that group together. Then that becomes like your support network because they've heard the stories, they know where you're coming from. And I think we in the modern United States society, we tend to shy away from sharing those stories because maybe it's too personal, or maybe we might have that used against us, or maybe people have had bad experiences where they've shared personal stories. But I think there's a way to find sharing that story in a way that makes sense, in a way that forges connection without leaving yourself vulnerable and too open, without sharing every little bit of your personal life day to day, because I think there's a balance to strike there where we have connection and share a bit about ourselves, but not like, I think the minutia, the details, you can lose out on your story sometimes that way.
Yeah. Now, it seems I can smell some irony in the air. Anybody smell that? Because even though story connects, on the other hand, these have a way of disconnecting us. Yes or no? Oh, look, there's the baby. We sometimes find ourselves inside of a funnel, a tunnel, blinders, because of all of this. There's a combination of things going on. They're taking cursive out of the hands of children, where they would write letters and they just type everything. You know what I'm saying? You don't type a card. What about when you got to send a card? What what about signing your signature one day? If you don't have, what are you gonna do? Print it or put your thumbprint? All these things. I remember when I was a kid, I would get, if I turned 7, somebody in the family, an aunt or someone would send me a card with $7 in it, and they'd write on the opposite side of the card. You open it up, and I could almost hear their voice. You've been good. I hope you're doing well in school. That was storytelling. And your mom tells me this, that, and all these things. You can picture and you can hear their voice. So how do you offset the disingenuousness that can come with texting everything? We all know people, even families. In my family, I have a sister who went on hospice about a month ago, and her 5 daughters do everything about her. 90% of their conversations regarding their mother are in a sister thread, which allows them to say things in a way they wouldn't if it was face to face, allows them to leave questions unasked and unanswered that wouldn't happen most likely if they were face to face, that kind of stuff. How does that apply in the corporate or in the business world? When you have team meetings and face to faces and, meeting in the break room, around the water cooler, talking about things that matter, suggestion boxes, communication, period. It's changed. It is not the same as it was.
Yep. You're so right.
Okay. So talk about that.
You have to navigate it in a purposeful way. You have to take steps to purposefully invite in, right, those ways of connection. I think, when my husband and I got married a couple years ago, we decided that, we were both full grown adults. We didn't need another toaster. We already had 2 toasters. We didn't need a third, right? So we decided that what we wanted for a gift from people was for them to write us a recipe card, handwritten recipe card that has their name on it and a recipe that they love. And so now we have this beautiful box, handwritten cards from friends, family, some who aren't here anymore. And we have a way to connect back with them, both the recipe and just seeing their handwriting to us. Like that is very special, but you have to be purposeful and invite that type of connection in. I recently read a book and I met the author. The book is called The Connector's Way, and it's how to build connections. It's by Patrick Galvin. It's about how to build connections in this super technology kind of, and we think about it, this technology world where we can connect with anybody at any point in any location, like you and I are talking right now, and
Right.
I'm, Oregon and here in Chicago. And like,
Yeah.
you think about the kind of thing, was that even a thing that we would have even done 5-10 years ago?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe not.
Right. So
Yeah.
people that want to benefit from what you have. Now, here's your website. Tell them what they'll find when they, head over there, because I know they're going to. Tell us, what is it you do to help people do better?
Yeah.
That they can call on you for.
Yeah, I'm happy to work one-on-one with anybody who just kind of needs some direction on how best to move forward. I know there are lots of people out there now looking on the job market, and that is a difficult place to be, but just having that encouragement, having someone in your corner, definitely that's something that I've done. But I think if you have a need for training, I can help you put together training. I know a lot of times it's if you have a small business or, you're a nonprofit, you don't really have the capacity to have a full training team, but I can come in and help you spot maybe some of those gaps, fill some of that in where you can connect and communicate with folks. That kind of next step.
That is huge. Tell us about this Lightbulb Learning we're looking at along the bottom of the screen right now.
That's my training consulting company. It's just me. So
just you is more than enough.
Me. Yeah. And but yeah, if I definitely am willing to work with folks, even if it's one-on-one, if it's a small company, if it's just a person who needs support. Yeah, I can come in and help you out, and we work all virtually. So anything you need as far as training or leadership, that's what I do.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And also, you can find lots of benefit over on her LinkedIn. There's articles. You share a lot of the insights that you purposely find or stumble across, but I love that. I went in there, I marked a few things that, I think that I saw where you were talking about, and I'm going back for it, caught my eye. Just to give you guys an idea, I saw something in here not so long ago. What was it? This one. It was a conversation you had with David on the strategic way. That was a thing. Also, the episode of A Diary of a CLO with host Helen Marshall. That I was just peeking, but I couldn't stop. And next thing you know, I said, "Oh my goodness, I'm stuck," and I had to keep going. So there's a lot. My point is, there's a lot of interesting things over there. And then tell us about this.
Yeah, so I met the author last year, and the book, The Connector's Way. He said that the best networking app on your phone is the actual phone call app, the one you use to make calls with each other. And that, to me, that stuck. Man, that stuck. And those relationships that you establish, they only really serve both of you if you nourish them and if
Yes.
you feed into them and you pay attention to them. And so that's a wonderful book. I devoured it. It's like one of those, not like a huge, massive
Yes,
book,
easy read.
one where you read right through it, and
Okay.
it's like a pocket-sized thing. I took it with me on the plane. I was like, this is great.
There you
And
go.
it was so invigorating to
Wow.
realize about, reaching out and connecting with folks. And whether it's for business or whether it's personal, or in my world, it's a little bit of both, where there's always personal networking, but then you also talk about what you do. There's some of it, there's a little bit of a fuzzy line between the two, but
Absolutely.
I think it's so important to keep nourishing those relationships that you have, that you find useful. But here's the other side to that coin. If it's not serving you, it's also okay to let that go.
See, it's more than okay. Things that do not serve us eventually must go.
Yes.
The longer we wait, the longer you're really giving those things to trick you into serving them. There you go. Great way to end the show, end the week, and kick off the beginning of new relationships. Head over to any number of the sites that we have given you to find more about Miss DJ. And we have taken the liberty of dropping the Connector's Way link for that pocketbook. Not to be concerned or confused with a purse, but remember those old ladies in their family called, "Go get my pocketbook off the table." Yeah. It's a pocket-sized book that will give you lots and lots of information, according to Miss DJ, and we trust what you say. Anytime you want to come back, you're welcome. That's the turnstile invitation. It is always open to you. And I just want to say thank you. Just a wealth of knowledge. And I love the anointing. You are indeed a true comforter. Thank you for sharing your gifts with us today here.
Thank you.
Moments. Yes. And thank you all for coming in and putting up with my cray-crayness this morning. Thank you for the prayers, the light, the love, and everything that makes you you. Now, get out today, find another E and another R. Scoot them up close next to what you woke up as this morning. You were great. Now look for a way to be greater. You were bright. Try to be brighter. You were nice. How can you be nicer? It's not that hard. You don't need 26 letters. Choose two. I choose E and R. Listen, have the best weekend ever. I'll see you Monday morning, God willing, right over on the front porch. We're together. You guessed it. We'll have another illuminated conversation. Now, don't you dare let Dr. Lauren's screen door slam on the way out of here. And remember this, I absolutely adore you. I love you. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Thank you so much. DJ, great job.
Thank you.
My girl. All right. Have the best weekend.
Thank you, too.
Okay. We'll see you guys Monday. Be the blessing you want to receive. Bye, you guys.